It's day 70 and today we're heading from Burgos to Hornillos de Camino.
We bought ponchos yesterday in full preparation for the onslaught of rain and floods that we've seen that's going to be happening on the news. And then look at this, it's like wow, it's like blue skies today. How did that happen? I'm not complaining, really happy to see it. It does make everything so much more enjoyable to walk in the fair weather, although we're not fair weather pilgrims by any stretch of the imagination. If we deem it safe to walk, we'll walk even if it's uncomfortable. Yesterday just wasn't safe. There's a guy, another Irish guy, he walked it yesterday from where we were staying into Burgos, and he got here last night. It took him over 12 hours to walk it, and he said he was numb by the end of it. Going over the mountain, he said he was so cold he couldn't feel his hands anymore. The sleet and snow was coming in. The ground underneath him, he kept on having to empty out his boots of the water because they were filling up, and the ground was just so bad, and the terrain was so bad because of the heavy rains and the sleet and the snow and everything. So when he saw us and when he got here, he was so pleased to see us because he was so worried that we were going to walk it with a little water dragon there, and because he found it that hard, he thought, oh, they're going to really suffer with it. And so we made a very good decision by not walking that bit yesterday. But today it's looking good. Things are looking up. Goodbye, Burgos.
Bye, Burgos. We love staying here. We really love staying here. The other day when we were walking from Gragnon to Vista, there was a bitterly cold wind and just blowing right at us in our face, and it felt like torture. And there was a stage, it got to, we were up in the hill, and I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go back to the next town, I'm going to get the bus, and I'm going to go home. I'm going to have my nice warm fire, and everything's going to be fine. And Matthew, he has this thing he does. Sometimes I find myself doing things and I have no idea why I'm doing it. And you have to be really careful if you ever meet him in person, because he does this thing like this. We can do whatever you want. But Victoria, it's halfway. We've already come halfway now. You may as well come to the next town, and we'll go and we'll get a cup of tea and we'll talk it over and we'll think about it. So I said, okay, we'll go to the next town, and then I'm going to get the bus and I'm going to go home. And then I said, God, if you want me to walk this, you're going to have to give me a sign. So we got to the next town and we went and had a cup of tea, and in the coffee shop there was a man there called Jose, and he says, oh, you're pilgrims. I'm a pilgrim too. I walked over 90,000 kilometers. And I was like, wow, really? And he brought down this folder he had with him of all the newspaper cuttings of his journey and where he'd been and what he'd done. And his story went that there was 17 sailors or fishermen on this boat, and there was a boating accident, and he was the sole survivor. And at the time, he'd said to God, look, if you save me, I'll devote my life to you. And I'm not sure the full story. It was in Spanish, and I didn't really fully understand it. But since then, he's been walking, and he's walked all over the world. And so it's like, wow. But one of the things that really stood out to me was that he was walking on faith. He didn't have any money with him. He was literally just relying on the hospitality of people that they would put him up and give him food. And so far, he'd managed it. And in the newspaper, or one of the newspaper articles, it said he was traveling in faith, and it kind of really stood out to me that he was just trusting in God as he walked with nothing. He had nothing to take with him. So then I thought, okay, is this God sending me a sign that I need to just keep walking? And but as we were walking, I thought, you know what? I could take anything to be a sign if I wanted to walk. I could decide, oh, I've seen this, it could be a sign. I've seen this, it could be a sign. So I remembered a story that my friend Anya told me about asking God for a sign that she should do something. And she said she wanted to see a butterfly. I think it was her and her sister. And she asked for a butterfly, and then as she was walking through town she saw a butterfly. So I was thinking about it and I thought, okay, if I'm going to keep walking today, I want to see a butterfly. And it was kind of a mad thing to say because it was blistering cold and it was very windy. There's no way there's actually going to be a real butterfly about. So the only way it's going to be if somebody graffitied it somewhere or if it was on a van or something. So I was very happy with myself. I was very happy. I said, right, if I'm going to keep walking today, I want to see a butterfly. There you go, God, show me a butterfly. And within 2 seconds, or even less than a minute anyway, of my making up that decision, I saw a butterfly. There's a trinket that one of the Korean girls had given us, and this comes back to synchronicities. The trinket, one of the Korean girls had given us a present. She said, oh, present, indigo. And Matthew put it on the back of his backpack. And it was just this little green thing, and I never even realised what it was. I'd never looked at it before. But as soon as I made that decision I wanted to see a butterfly, I turned around and there it was in front of me, a butterfly. So, I mean, maybe in my unconscious mind I knew it was a butterfly, but definitely consciously I had no idea. So we did walk all the way to Villa Vista the other day, and yeah, that's the story.
Hey son, look at gorgeous this. You just woken up. Yeah, lovely this. Victoria was just talking about our friend Anya and the story she's just mentioning, and then we walked past the wall and it is graffitied Anya on the wall. I've never met anyone in Spain called Anya, and it's just a heck of a coincidence, right? Cool. So I guess it's that away.
I'm just appreciating right now this weather so much because of the contrast to the weather we've had over the last few days. This is fantastic.
They're everywhere. Even the smallest villages have a big Coke machine. The most difficult thing for me so far in this past few weeks of doing the Camino is just when Victoria has just said that she's not doing it anymore, that she's quitting and she's heading back and she's getting the bus and whatever. And for me that's just been the most difficult thing, because I'm just the complete opposite to that. For me, just to quit is just not an option. It's not something that I just have in there, have in the programming. And so when I say I'm walking to Santiago, I'm walking to Santiago, you know? And, you know, other than an act of God, you know, nothing's going to stop me. But of course I'm not going to, if she turns around and says she's getting the bus back or something, I'm not going to walk on, I'm going to go with her, of course. You know, we set out to do this, the three of us as a family, and either we finish it as a family or none of us finish it, simple as that. But to be in that position where suddenly I don't have control anymore of whether I complete it or not. You know, it's whether she decides to complete it or not. And I'm kind of at the mercy of that. Of course I can influence and encourage her and do what I can, but still at the end of the day it's down to her, whatever she decides. And I'm really glad at the minute that we're keeping going, and we have there's more optimism in the air right now. That's just the way I'm kind of wired, and it's a big learning for me. Like when I joined the Royal Marines Commandos when I was 18, there was no option of quitting. Like I joined and I was like, that was it. I'm gonna pass and that's it. There's no doubt about it. Even broke my leg halfway through training. So instead of 8 months training, it took me 13 months to get through. And I remember other guys talking about quitting all the way through training. Some of them did quit, well, a lot of them did quit. And some of them just used to talk about it. One guy's strategy was, he said, I'll quit tomorrow. He says, I really want to quit, but I'll quit tomorrow. And then tomorrow came along, and he said, right, I really want to quit, but I'll quit tomorrow. And he went through the whole training like that. To me, that's just torture. For me, it was just like quitting. That just wasn't part of the program. I'm just like, I've signed up for this, I'm doing it. And it's the same with this. That's just the way I'm wired, and Victoria's wired a different way. And it's a learning for me to see. Part of it is a big strength, for that's the way I'm wired. It's a huge strength of mine. But at the same time, it can also be a weakness. So I'm learning to accept whatever, even if after a few days, no more, she said that's it. You know, I just have to accept that, and that's what I'm learning to do. Be an acceptance of whatever outcome. You know, we don't have to make it to Santiago. It's not actually important. It'd be lovely, I'd love it, but it's not important. What's more important is the harmony in the relationships. See those wind turbines in the distance? Like right in the far distance?
Yeah.
We walked from the other side of that. You don't realise how far you walk until you look back. I think once we get to the top of this hill, we're going to be able to see our village where we're going to be staying tonight. What's it called?
Hornillos del something?
Del Camino.
Del Camino.
Hornillos del Camino. That'll be just over 20k in the bag for today. I always love coming to the top of these big long hills that we tend to walk up quite often, because you never know what's going to be on the other side. I'm always curious. What's going to be on the other side? Are we going to see the village we're going to? What's the landscape going to be like? As it happens, I thought we were about to go over this, but it's actually just more hill. I thought we just got to the top of the hill, but it's just more hill. Oh. This is probably our last break of the day before we get into town, before we roll into town. We still haven't got to the top of the hill yet. It just keeps going and going. This hill. We're looking forward to seeing on the other side. Yeah. I find this really cool places to hang out. People or some sort of beings like to do this. They build rocks up like this here. So it seems like a very special place to have a little seat, chill out for a bit. Sunshine coming through the clouds, lone tree. It's perfect. She who has much to say. You're falling down, Indigo, aren't you? And at the top of the hill we find a plateau. This one just seems to keep going on.
Can't see any buildings. Tell me we're not going to have to go over that other hill.
Oh dear.
Okay, I can see something.
Oh. That was a long drawn out hill, but oh yes, there it is. There's a village down there. For a moment we thought we had another big hill to go. That's only what, 2.5k maybe? We're down there. That's where we'll stay this evening. It's like a small village, probably only 100 people, 200 people maybe less. This muck sticks to the bottom of your boots or shoes. Makes you feel like you've got another couple of kilos you're dragging along. Really mucky. Doesn't seem to be too much life in this village at all. see a sign for a bar up ahead. That's usually the best place to go for any information. Even the bar looks closed. Let's check it out. Nope. Even the bar is closed. Albergue Municipal. Let's see if this is open. Looks like we're going to be staying in Hornillos for the night. It's another 11k to Hontanas, and not feeling that fresh. It's quite late in the day, and you know, there's very little here. There's a bar that opens at 5. Whether they can do us some food tonight or not is a different story. I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can make us a bowl of rice or pasta or something like that. We've got a few dates left, and we've got a few seeds left, so we can chow on them until then. Maybe get some showers, and we haven't even gone into the albergue yet, so we're not even too sure. It looks pretty basic. And then tomorrow we're going to a bigger town, and we can get better things there, get some fresh food and stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
We're stopping here.